The woman he married was a spirit. Sifui had been seeing this woman in his dreams for years. Every single night, he'd dream of this beautiful woman with eyes that twinkled like stars and a smile that could light up the darkness. But when he woke up, the only thing that greeted him was the cold sheets beside him, a reminder that he was alone. He was a successful businessman in the city of South Africa. People often envied his life, but they didn't know he was drowning in loneliness. All he wanted was the woman from his dreams, the one who made his heart skip a beat and filled his soul with a longing he couldn't understand. One day, while walking through the bustling market in search of herbs to spice up his love life, he met an old woman stirring a bubbling cauldron. Intrigued, he stopped to watch her. The air around her was thick with the scent of cinnamon and cloves. "Can you help me find her?" he asked the old woman, his voice hoarse with unshed tears. "Find who?" she asked, her wrinkled face unreadable. "The woman from my dreams," he whispered, hoping she would understand. The old woman stirred the potion, her eyes distant. "Dreams are the whispers of the soul," she finally spoke, her voice raspy like the autumn leaves. "Sometimes they lead us to what we desire most. Sometimes they show us what we fear the most." Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. "How do I find her? What if she's not real?" he pressed, desperation edging into his voice. The old woman turned, her gaze boring into his. "She is as real as the beating of your heart," she said, handing him a small vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "Take this elixir home. It will show you the way." With trembling hands, he took the vial, his heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird. He thanked the old woman and hurried home, the vial clutched tightly in his hand. At home, he stared at the vial. The liquid swirled within, reflecting his anxious face back at him. He knew he couldn't keep waiting. He had to take a chance. Taking a deep breath, he uncorked the vial and drank the shimmering liquid in one gulp. It tasted like 1,000 sunsets, like the warmth of 1,000 embraces. As the last drop slid down his throat, a tingle raced through him, pulling him towards the window. He rushed to it and gasped. There, perched on the window sill, was the woman from his dreams. She looked at him, her eyes shining with recognition. For a moment, time stood still. Then she was gone, leaving him with a whisper of wind and the echo of his pounding heart. He ran to the mirror, hoping to catch another glimpse of her, but saw only his own bewildered face staring back. Disheartened, he sank onto a chair, wondering if he'd imagined it all. Suddenly, the air around him grew colder. He whipped around to see the woman from his dreams standing in the room. She was real. Her eyes, lips and smile, everything about her was as vivid as the sunrise. He couldn't speak. He couldn't move. He was frozen by the sheer wonder of it all. Finally, she stepped closer and reached out a hand, her touch sending shivers down his spine. "I've been waiting for you," she whispered, her voice like the chime of distant bells. "Waiting for you," was all he could say. Days turned into weeks as they fell deeply in love. He learned her name was Amara, which meant eternal beauty. But there was more to her than just beauty. There was a depth to her eyes, a wisdom in her silence that hinted at something beyond the mortal realm. Their love story was like a melody that echoed through eternity. He felt whole again, as if the missing piece of his soul had finally been found. However, the joy in his heart was laced with a persistent unease. A sense of foreboding lingered at the edges of his perception, threatening to unravel the fabric of their happiness. One evening, as they sat by the window watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple, he couldn't hold back his questions anymore. "Amara," he began, his voice heavy with unspoken fears, "I love you. You know that, but I need to understand. Are you a spirit or a human?" Amara turned to him. Her eyes, which usually twinkled with mirth, were now clouded with a deep sadness. "My love," she began, her voice echoing with an otherworldly resonance. "I am neither spirit nor human. I am something in between, bound to this earth by a purpose I cannot quite grasp." He reached out to her, his fingers tracing the delicate line of her jaw. "Does that mean," he whispered, his heart sinking, "that you can't be with me? That this love we share is destined to be torn apart?" Mara shook her head, her long flowing hair cascading over her shoulders like a silken waterfall. "No, my love," she said, her eyes searching his. "It means that our love must be protected, cherished, and understood. You must learn to navigate the complexities of our existence if you wish to be with me." His journey led him to an ancient bookstore tucked away on a cobblestone street. Inside, amidst the musty smell of aged paper and leather, he found a book titled The Grimoire of Shadows. Its pages, filled with arcane symbols and cryptic verses, hinted at a world where spirits and humans intertwined their destinies. As he delved deeper into its secrets, he uncovered a ritual that could bind him and Amara together in an unbreakable bond. But the ritual demanded a profound sacrifice, a surrender of his deepest fears and insecurities. With each page he turned, he came face to face with his inner demons, the doubts, the regrets, and the traumas that had haunted him for years. The book became a mirror, reflecting his darkest fears back at him. But instead of recoiling in horror, he decided to confront them. He would not let his past, his fears, come between him and Amara. With newfound determination, he performed the ritual. The air crackled with energy as ancient words formed a protective barrier around him and Amara. At that moment, he understood. The woman he loved was indeed a spirit, but their bond transcended the boundaries of the physical world. He was tethered to her not just by love, but by a profound connection that defied explanation. The Grimoire of Shadows lay open on the ground, its pages fluttering in the sudden breeze, a testament to the power of their love and the strength of his resolve. And as the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of rose and gold, he knew that he wasn't just a man in love with a spirit. He was a man bound to a spirit in love.